Hello and welcome to Sandy on Talent. Today, it's a special day because here is my friend, somebody I really admire and have admired for a long time, and that's John Chiminski. So, John, thank you so much for agreeing to come and do this.
Absolutely love being back together again with you, Sandy. I mean, we had the opportunity when we were both at Blackstone, and you were basically head of all of their talent, and I was, a portfolio company. One of my favorite things per year was when you would run the CEO summit, basically for Blackstone. It was just so fantastic. I'd still talk about those summits to this day, and the way Blackstone will pull their CEOs together, basically with their portfolio companies, have a view of the earth. I mean,
Yeah.
macroeconomics and what was going on from a political standpoint. So it's great to be back with you again.
I remember the run up to the first time you and I met. And I think we talked about this. I'm sitting in Chin Chu's office. And, for those of you who don't know Chin is a prolific investor and a great, great person.
One of a
And
kind.
yeah, I mean, one of a kind, absolute one of a kind. And I'm in Chin's office and he goes, yeah, we got this guy, John Chiminski. He's running this thing and we can see that he's like an operator's operator. The question is, can he grow the thing? So he says, would you meet with them and see what you think? And I was new. I mean, I was new. So of course I have the chance to meet you. And I go back to Chin, I go, dude, this guy's got the full kit. He's not only gonna run this thing, but he knows why he's focusing on running it now. He knows exactly why. And I'm gonna get the thing. I need it to run well. And then, and I'm going to do this in the right sequence. And believe me, I'm planting the seeds as you can be peaceful about. And of course, sure enough, John, the rest is history.
Terrific. I'm looking forward to telling the story a little bit. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
I worked for a formerly iconic company, which is GE, because GE is no longer, it's a shell of itself. Although I think Larry Culp did an amazing job splitting it into three businesses and making sure that GE brand continued on. But when I was there, I mean, it was the most admired company for 5 years running by, Fortune. You had Jack Welch there. It was a ruthless company. It was a demanding company, and it was a talent machine. And they found people like me, and it grew us throughout the company. In fact, most everyone rises through the ranks and gets promoted, and rarely people from the outside are hired into GE other than through potentially acquisitions. And in some way, I would say the autoimmune system of GE kind of spits out people that are not GE. But that's where I was, it really where I was formed, and I joined onto that manufacturing management program. And I'll just say, I had some experiences across those 20 years that really stand out. I mean, the first of it is, they put you in jobs where you're on the factory floor. So within, I would say, 3 or 4 years of me, joining the company and going through their program, I was running a big part of a shop in GE making X-ray tubes. And you learn how to make the hour, the shift, the day, the week, the month, the quarter, and you do it all over again. And, I was working, I had a huge area, on Electric Avenue, and it was running 3 shifts, and we couldn't make enough of these X-ray tubes because this was before Six Sigma. We had a high failure rate, big demand from the field, and you would run this again every hour, the shift, the day, till Sunday at 2:40 p.m. I would get the call from my supervisor, and they'd say, yep, we made a number with 2 tubes to spare. And you're like, excellent. And then the slate was cleaned and you started all over again. I mean,
Like Groundhog Day.
that's how you kind of learn that overall, operating rhythm. And then from there, after I spent, I would say about a third of my career in GE in operations where, I was also espousing Lean and Six Sigma and rolling out to the different plants. I took a step towards engineering. I'm an engineer and we're a big product development company. And I got put into vascular engineering, which is for, heart catheterizations and so forth for imaging. And now you're on the other end of putting in products, but things happen. And I'm there for about 6 or 7 months. And we had a new product, about 40 in the field. And I get a call from an engineer in France that says, we have uncontrolled motion of the gantry. Now, these gantries are several hundred pounds rotating around a patient as you're doing your imaging. And all of a sudden, an uncontrolled motion at the highest speed that went all the way to the stops. And it happened twice. And it happened house out in the field. And we had to shut down the entire field. I actually had the field service engineers remove the fuses that powered the machine from the hospital so that they couldn't use it. Well, these machines are in high demand. They can't schedule heart catheterizations. And I had the service leader call me up, Tom Dunham. And he's like, John, when's this going to be fixed? And now I had just flown over to France at the drop of a hat, within 5 hours, I'm flying over to France. And I said, well, look, I think we can get to root cause in 4 or 5 weeks, and then we'll have a fix in 2 or 3 months. He says, John, he said, you're going to have a root cause in a week, and you're going to have the entire field up in 2. Call me tomorrow with your plan. By the way, this video conference too, we were ahead of our times. That's what, John Dunham. And we did it. It ended up being actually a total of 3 to 4 weeks working 24/7.
And a lot of people have tried, John, to make that jump from being in a talent factory like GE, but not at the sort of CEO level, and then going in and being the CEO of a private equity backed company where you are the guy.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll tell you how I got there, and then I'll tell you why. Look, when GE makes people fearless. I mean, I was 45. I'm 61 years old now. I was 45 when I went to Catalent. I mean, it was just a young pup. But, when you're in GE, I was fearless. I had to deal with Jack Welch, Jeff Immel, and all people. I mean, it's an IQ test every day at GE, and it's a tough environment. It can be ruthless. And so, when I came into Catalent, I didn't even blink. Can I do this job? I'm like, I totally get what I need to do here. The only hard part for me is I could see exactly where they needed to be on day one, but it would take 5 and 6 years to get there. That almost makes you crazy, right? Because I knew that I needed to, bring in the right talent, focus on operations and quality, build a brand, develop the strategy, make sure you had a strategy for growth, and then ultimately exit the business and have the right culture and values. And you can see it, but the steps to do all of that, you can't do the 3 weeks or the 3 months to 3 weeks. I can't do it, And so I knew, at least in the first play of the company, what I needed to do. Quick story, going from GE to Blackstone, look, it could be more different, right? I mean, I thought I was on Mars, Venus and Mars. I'm in this buttoned up company, and, we've got our values, we've got our culture, we've got, our vernacular, our processes. And then I go interview with Blackstone, and I'm sitting across from a chin chew, who's got 2 Blackberries, 3 screens. He's barely paying attention to me. I'm interviewing with a guy called Bruce McAvoy, who I actually blew off because I looked at him and he was 28 years old. I'm like, what are you going to ask me that is going to impress you? And I actually walked out of the interview, if you can believe it. I'm like, hey, Bruce, I got to get a car. And he turned out to be one of the smartest guys I ever met.